And what's cracking, you guys? Welcome to the Mango Grove. How is everyone doing? I am so sorry. I was late today. I was just prepping all my charts, prepping the giveaway. Today is the giveaway. It's going to be a live giveaway, okay? A lot of you have been participating in the $1,000, $2,000 giveaways. So today we're going to be giving away up to $2,000, and I am going to be picking the winners live in front of you guys. Yeah, it's going to be a rather exciting one. Who do we have in here? Zinmi has gone. Stanton is in here. Megalan is in here as well. Hello. Okay, I'm going to just set everything up. We're gonna wait for a couple more people. Smash the likes while you guys wait, because believe it or not, you know, it's a cliche, not a cliche, but people say it a lot in a lot of live streams, but it makes a huge difference. And also tell me if the music is okay. Do you guys like the music? Do you guys want me to put it off? Crypto now. Hello. Carl, how's it going? You know what we're gonna do? I'm just gonna get on in 3, 2, 1. Let's cue the intro. And what's cracking, you guys? How's it going? I'm very excited today. We're gonna be announcing the winners live, and I have like this whole thing set up. You know, it's like one of those presentations. And it's usually when it's like live, everything goes wrong. But I'm hoping that nothing goes wrong, okay? These are winners. I am very excited. Hello, Ariza. Mohammed, how's it going? Okay, so how many people do we have in here? We're gonna wait for a couple more people to join in before we begin. Okay, there are 20 people. Hit the likes, guys, hit the likes. Believe it or not, that actually like sort of pushes the live stream out as well. There's a lot of good information. You know, even yesterday, I really hope you caught yesterday's live stream. Did you catch yesterday's live stream, guys? That was a very important one, and I promise you, from all the live streams, I mean, the live streams have been great anyways. Yesterday, Sean did the live stream, and he dropped some crazy alpha. You know, enough to get you guys super duper excited. Alright, so if you get into the Mango channel, yesterday's live stream, okay, it's already got 1.1k views. I think this deserves way more because that's how much alpha it has in it. It's gonna get you guys excited. So go and watch that right after this one. I promise you, you're not gonna regret it. Okay? But yeah, let's... I got some good stuff prepared for you too. Alright, Julian, how's it going? Avi's in here as well. Okay, Derek, Perps. Okay, brilliant. So now what we're gonna start with first, I don't wanna hold back, okay, because we're gonna be doing a lot more giveaways this month till the end of the month. Alright, so I'm gonna first start off by announcing the giveaway. Okay, all the winners, we're gonna be picking them together with the help of a little tool, and well, we're gonna start a brand new giveaway even in this live stream. Okay, so we have giveaways happening the entire month. All you gotta do is make sure you're eligible for the giveaway. That way you get in on the next rollout. Cool beans. If you have any doubts, just get into the chat and let me know. Okay, music might need a bit of more turning down. I know, it's a bit upbeat. You know what I do? I sort of put the music on, and I sort of lower it on my end because, I don't know about you guys, but when there's music, and I gotta talk, and it's like music with, it's not like an instrumental beat, it's just like words, I lose my words while talking. Thank you, Ashok. Okay, yeah, so, okay, is that good? Okay, perfect. Thank you, Julian. If the audio or anything is off, just let me know. I'll be sort of keeping one eye out on the chat, okay, if anything is off. All right, so let's begin. I have my little capture thingamajig, okay, and this is how we're gonna be doing the giveaway. Are you guys ready? Can I get a drum roll, please? Ta-da! Okay, so this is essentially going to be a spin the wheel. Okay, we're going to be spinning the wheel for all of the winners. Today, there are going to be a total of 4 winners. All right. The first roll is going to be for $200. The second roll is going to be for $300. The fourth one for $500. And the last one is going to be for $1,000. Alrighty? Are we ready, guys? Are we ready? I'm very excited. This is the first time I'm doing this live. So yeah, this is how we're gonna be doing it, okay? From this day onward to the end of the month, we're gonna be running these giveaways and we're gonna be spinning the wheel live on the live streams. So make sure you're not only signing up, but you're tuning in for the live streams as well. We'll be sending out emails as well as announcements in the Discord. So without further ado, I'm talking too much. Let's go ahead and spin for the first winner for $200. And 3, 2, 1, spin it. Okay, we have a winner. If this is you, congratulations. You have won $200 in this giveaway. So, okay, I'm going to be noting this one down. Give me a second, guys. Let me go ahead and just get this in. I'm very excited. I haven't done this before. Oopsies. Okay, there we go. I'm keeping a log. That way I know that it's time for me to distribute. There you are. Okay, got you. So all of your winnings are going to be dropping in your accounts in 24 hours. Cool? Cool beans. Okay, for the next winner for $300. Now what we're going to do is we're going to hide this choice. Okay, for $300, here is the next winner. In 3, 2, 1, drum roll, spin that wheel. Did you guys hear the sound effect? I really hope so. It's cool. All right, we got another winner for $300. All right, if this is you, congratulations. Man, I feel like Santa Claus today. Okie dokes, where are you on the list? I'm gonna mark you out. That way I know to drop the cash in your accounts. This is free money. Free money. Guys, if you won this, like I said, all you gotta do, get into the BitUnix exchange, sign up for an account and deposit 50. That's the qualification. All right, you qualify, you get in on the next rollout. All right, if you get called, well, this is free money just dropped in your account for you to use and for you to trade with. All right, oftentimes what happens is that, well, there's this trade, it's staring us in the face, but you're a bit apprehensive. You're like, damn it, I don't want to risk my money, right? But you want to put on the trade. You just see it so clearly. Well, now what this lets you do is that you get to take that trade without risking any of your money, all right? So you only get the upside and no downside with it. So when you get the free bonuses, whether it's exchange bonuses, whether it's giveaways, take advantage of it. All right, so this is the winner for $300. If this is you, congratulations. Now for the next big prize. This one is for $500. $500, let's spin it. For $500, let's go. Let's go. Oh, that was so close. Oh my God. I was so close. It was just like an inch. Okay, so if this is you, congratulations. You won yourself $500. I'm gonna mark you out on the list as well. Let's go. Wow. Wow. Okay, there we go. All right, so remember, your prize is gonna be dropping in your accounts in the next 24 hours. Congratulations. If this is you, $500 free for you to trade with. Now, for the biggest prize yet. Are we ready? This is the $1,000 giveaway. Whoever wins this roll wins $1,000. Now, if you want to qualify for the next spin on the next live stream, get in to the description, click on the link to BitUnix, sign up, deposit 50, you qualify. It's as simple as that. As simple as that, okay? And 3, 2, 1, and spin it. for $1,000. Who's gonna be the lucky winner today? Oh, woo! Alrighty, congratulations if this is you. Man, I feel like Santa Claus today. I think I was really excited to get up and you know, do this live stream because, well, it's nice. It's nice to just give away. Because for all the money we are not giving away, I'm just gonna spend it on stuff I don't need. So there we go. If this is you, 9177, you have won yourself $1,000 today. I'm gonna go ahead and mark you out on the list. Where are you? Just keeping track. Man, so many. Okay, there we go. All right, got you on the list. All right, congratulations to our winners today. This was fun. So next live stream, I'll be playing Santa again and doing the same giveaway with the same spin the wheel. That way you guys get to see how the selection happens, because all this time we were doing it behind the scenes. But I'm like, hey, that's not fun. You know, that's not fun. Let's actually get them involved in this process. That way, well, we can all sort of reveal the winners together. Cool beans. Okay, done. So now these were the participants. Thank you all for participating. Of course, you guys can qualify even for the next giveaway. If you did not win on this one, the qualification rules still remain the same. Okay, we're gonna keep it as simple as that. All right, so now that we have our winners are marked. Cool beans. And now we can, well, get into the juice of this analysis. How did you guys like that? Did you guys like me doing the spin the wheel for the giveaways? We're gonna be doing a giveaway every single, so what I'll do is I'll be building it up on all the daily videos. So even if you watch the daily videos, you qualify for that as well. If you watch the live streams, you qualify as well. So on one particular live stream, we'll have this every week. I'll be announcing the winners for you guys. Okay? And we'll do the whole thing, spin the wheel and reveal. All right, spin the wheel and reveal. All right, so today I want to go over Bitcoin on the bi-weekly. I think there's good information here for us today. Once again, for those of you who are only now joining in, if you did not catch yesterday's live stream that Sean did, the title of the live stream is a long-term analysis. Guys, this title was done in a minute, but the title does not do justice to the content in there. This one is going to get you very, 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 very excited. Okay, so go ahead and watch that. Now I'm going to add to that as well today. There's one thing that I do want to show you, because what is the biggest thing that everyone's feeling right now? You know, you're looking at crypto Twitter, you're looking at your analysis as well, and everything is pointing to a bullish breakout. And I agree, I'm in the same boat as you. I think there's going to be a bullish breakout, right? Everything is pointing to that. However, there's still a bit of apprehension. Like you're still doubting. Like, what if this is a double top? You know, like it's still, like if you're looking at the environment out there, things are still looking a bit grim. That liquidity is not there. People are still not feeling too overly, I don't want to call it bullish. Bullish is very like, if you're in the markets, you'll use the term bullish. But rather, people are not, they're averse to spending as much. They're not spending as much right now, right? That has sort of decreased in a way. They're not like, oh, take my money. You know, we always have these certain phases in the market where market participants, whether it's in real estate, whether it's in any asset class, they're just like, take my money. Everyone just wants to spend. What we're seeing right now across the board are just layoffs, right? A lot of the tech companies are laying off hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people. This is all over the news, right? So we're seeing this sort of landscape right now. However, we have Bitcoin breaking out. Let's actually go ahead and what I'm gonna do is, I didn't have my chart set up properly. My bad. Okay, let's go to, well, this is the NASDAQ. Freaking beautiful breakout, right? NASDAQ is breaking out. We got SPY, okay, also breaking out, broken out an all-time high. So Bitcoin. Now, if we look at Bitcoin on the bi-weekly, Bitcoin still also looks very, very good on the bi-weekly, right? I don't know. Yesterday, Sean, I'm not sure if he's in the chat, but his chart actually showed a minor breakout. Can you guys tell me what chart was that on? Like, I'm looking at the Bitstamp chart right now on the bi-weekly time frame, but that, like, there was no it was a clear close under, right? It just about got held on resistance. However, there are some charts right now out there that are showing that, okay, Bitcoin broke out ever so slightly and actually closed over the previous candle closes, which came in on the bi-weekly closes of May. Yeah, on the bi-weekly closes of May. Now this came in at around $109,000. All right, now there are some charts that actually showed that as a breakout. Now as far as the weekly is concerned, okay, the weekly also on Bitstamp at the very least. Yeah. Wait, let me just, I'm gonna mark it out to the decimal. And this is, you know, it's so funny. Yesterday we were talking about this in the live chat. Bitcoin does this thing, and it's a signature where it's threatening an all-time high. It's threatening a breakout, and it closes, but ever so slightly, giving you the confirmation, but not enough for you to have conviction in that confirmation. So it makes you doubt, right? So right now, this close, I'm looking at this candle of 26th of May on the weekly. Close came in at 105, no, sorry, the open, my bad. Open came in at 109, 114. So what I'm gonna do is, you guys know just how much I like being very precise with my SNR, primarily because of what Bitcoin does, because of the signature of closing slightly above, but not enough for that confirmation, or rather the conviction, not the confirmation. Okay, that's 109, 114. And this one closed, the last weekly candle closed slightly above at 109,233. So you can see it's so negligible. It's so negligible, but it's there, okay? It's there. Now, I get it, this is okay. It seems like a breakout, seems like a great close if you're just looking at the entire picture right here. However, it's not that confidence inducing. So today I want to add to this. Okay, what I want to add here is, well, a little sort of snippet of what I presented even to people, the seedlings, all the members in the seed program. Now, this is Bitcoin's price action, and I wanted to lay over, well, liquidity conditions. Bitcoin has been a great barometer for global liquidity, but there is a bit of a correlation here. Every time global liquidity does break out, we find Bitcoin also breaking out, right? And another thing to add to that is that you're looking at the indices like NASDAQ, like SPY, and they're performing really well. I mean, we're looking at all-time high. We're looking at all-time high, right? So I'm like, okay, so NASDAQ is at all-time high, SPY is at all-time high, Bitcoin, what's going on? What's going on here? Right. So this is where I decided that, hey, I want to present this to you today. Okay, global liquidity and Bitcoin. Right. So of course the candle chart that you see above is the Bitcoin chart. The line chart is global liquidity. Okay, so this is basically global liquidity conditions just across the board. And I'm like, okay, every time global liquidity has hit a peak, okay, and rather every time global liquidity has broken out, what has the price of Bitcoin done? Right, that'll maybe give us some added confidence in what happens next. Where are we heading next? Is global liquidity has it reached like a level of resistance where we can then look for a pullback? Because if global liquidity drops, historically, Bitcoin has also dropped. Historically, risk on assets have also sort of pulled back. However, every time global liquidity does break out, Bitcoin rallies. Bitcoin gets into its next markup phase. All right, I'm keeping it as simple as that. And I decided that, hey, I want to do this little bit of a back test with you guys to give you guys that added confidence. Yeah, I get it. People are all talking about a breakout. Bitcoin is looking great, blah, 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 blah. You want to see a bit more. I want to see a bit more. So here's a bit more for all of us, okay? Now, if we're looking at the cycle of 2014, right, we know that, okay, this is the cycle of 2014. Global liquidity, if I'm looking at the line chart, I'm going to draw a horizontal marking out a resistance. Global liquidity actually hit a resistance right here, okay, right here. Right? That's when it starts sinking, and so was the price of Bitcoin until global liquidity also started improving, right? Across the board, it was improving. It started like this uptrend of sorts, right? And even in that time, Bitcoin was, you know, sort of putting up an uptrend. That was a cycle reversal. But the major breakout for global liquidity happened here, all right? What did the price of Bitcoin end up doing? That's when Bitcoin went from around $400 all the way up to $20,000 that cycle, that bull market. All right, but it took that push in global liquidity. Ultimately, guys, you got to ask yourself, I don't care if you're trading Bitcoin, and this actually applies especially for your altcoins. You got to ask yourself, where's the money going to come from? Right? Where's the money going to come from if no one's spending out there, or you're not seeing that froth that everyone's really excited to, just take their cash and dump it? And you know when that happens. You know when that happens. You know when your friends are calling you up and your family's calling you up, hey, should I be buying? Hey, what's happening with this Bitcoin that you're in? Hey, what's happening with these altcoins that you're in? How do I get in? That's when you know that people are excited to get in, right? So, and that shows you also, now that's not like direct fact, it's showing you, it's all like interconnected in a way. Like when liquidity picks up, people get confident across the board. Right? So we saw global liquidity conditions actually picking up here. Now this was the cycle of 2016, right? This is when Bitcoin actually broke out. We went into this exponential trend where it went from around, what was this, $300 all the way up to $400, all the way up to $20,000, right? So now $20,000, we know that, okay, now if we're looking back at global liquidity, we hit another peak right here. Right? Now, if I have to go ahead and draw out a resistance line right there on that peak for global liquidity, notice global liquidity suddenly started consolidating underneath this resistance, right? That's when Bitcoin actually got into bear market territory. In fact, even during this rally from 3K all the way to $14,000, all right, we still held resistance. Global liquidity never truly broke out. It never broke out until this right here. Okay, this came in on October 2019. This was right before COVID. This is when we had the repo rate. Let's say there was a panic in that end of the market. I don't know if you guys remember. This was like not 1 year, but it was like that. It was the November before the 2019 Christmas. I remember this very vividly because I was traveling at that time. But yeah, this is when it sort of broke out. The Fed had to step in here to provide liquidity. Now, we actually got this breakout right before COVID hit. Okay, and notice, even when COVID actually got to us, I don't want to zoom in because I don't want to lose the scale of my chart, but even when COVID came to us, global liquidity never truly broke back down below that region of resistance that it had claimed. Right? It stayed up the entire time, telling you that, hey, global liquidity is still in good condition right there, right? So even if you got in right after the COVID dump, telling you, okay, global liquidity, and after then, we know what happened. It was just freaking helicopter money just being distributed everywhere, right? So global liquidity, look at that crazy rise, and that's when Bitcoin went from around $7,000 all the way up to $69,000, right? Until it hit a peak again. Okay, so you can see now there's a bit of I don't want to call it a measurement tool per se, but almost like an indicator of sorts, right? The indication of global liquidity hitting a region of resistance gives us a hint, and that, okay, things might be tapering off here. Okay, when global liquidity starts sort of squeezing in, starts putting in these lower highs, getting rejected, it's telling you that, hey, something different's happening. Be careful. Something different is happening, and the market doesn't feel it quite immediately, right? It takes some time. So even on this cycle right here at $69,000, global liquidity actually hit a region of resistance, and we've been consolidating. Sorry, I was just looking at the chat. We've been consolidating underneath that ever since, okay, since March 2022 all the way up until April 2025 this year. We only got the breakout in global liquidity this year. Okay, the breakout came in on April 2025. So what does that mean for price action? Now, I wanted to present this to you today to give you guys some added sort of some added oomph with the analysis of, hey, a potential breakout coming to us. All right, so Bitcoin is looking good. I feel like one of the strongest assets right now is Bitcoin. All right, there are very few altcoins right now that can compare. I'm going to talk about the altcoins that I'm currently looking at, but Bitcoin, in my opinion, is looking very good if you're just looking at this model right now. this model is giving me sort of a bit of confidence that, hey, there's still quite a bit more juice left in this cycle. Now, juice doesn't necessarily, when I say quite a bit of juice left in the cycle, I'm not saying that, hey, we have another 1 year left. The juice is not a reflection of the time left in the cycle. We could still have a lot more juice, but everything play out in a matter of like 3 months, 4 months, right? So don't confuse the two. When I say juice left in the cycle, I'm saying, hey, we have a bit more of that magnitude, that power in the trend. That could play out within 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, right? That time is irrelevant, okay? Don't go based on time. Anyone trying to sell you the concept of when the cycle ends, take it from 1 year, take it up from the other year. You do not know. You do not know. You do not know. All right, if you go in with a predetermined, okay, the cycle is going to end in 1 year because XYZ people are saying so, it's a recipe for disaster. You're going to end up holding on when the markets, if and when the markets turn. And that would be really, really crappy because you're not prepared. That was not your plan. You're going off someone else's plan and making your decisions off of that. Just go based on price action right now. The moves can play out in a matter of, say, 2 to 3 months, right? I don't mean to scare you. What I'm trying to tell you guys here is lock in. Okay, lock in. It's looking good. Charts across the board are looking good. Lock the hell in. You owe it to yourself, especially if you've been here since the beginning of the cycle. Okay, don't fade the last bit of it. Right. So this is giving me some confidence in that, okay, Bitcoin still has a lot more juice left in it. All right, so we got great closes on the weekly, great closes on the monthly. The macro is sort of settling in. It's sort of adding to the picture. So this is all looking very, very good so far. All right. So if you guys want to sort of take note of the model, go ahead and do so. Toronto 2020 says Sean's live stream yesterday was dope AF, and it was, guys. It was. If you like, this is not even 10% of what Sean actually presented to you guys yesterday. It was that exciting. It was that exciting. It's gonna get you excited. Go and watch that right after this. How's it going, Damien? Hello, Michael. Sayed says, if you are bullish, I am bearish. Sure thing. You can counter trade all you want. You know what? I forgot. What I'm gonna do is... Okay. I'm getting comfortable with my tools. Okay. So I want to talk about the altcoins, and specifically I want to talk about, well, the title of this live stream, which was, okay, you know, everything is gearing up for breakout, but what about the altcoins? What about your altcoin specifically? And I want to speak about that today because I want you guys to start, I hate it when mainstream media comes out with, hey, here are the altcoins that you guys need to buy for this upcoming month. Okay, mainstream media, I found a mainstream media post announcing which altcoins, not Bitcoin, which altcoins are ripe for the picking. And this is like super mainstream. I'm like, are you kidding me? The market is depressed and mainstream media is out here telling people what altcoin to pick. I'm like, this is a red flag. All right, so named a bunch of altcoins that you should be picking and investing in. I'm like, this is... so, you know, it got me thinking. I'm like, even if the runs happen, it's going to happen rapidly. And I think a good show of that was in November. You know, the market's barely picked up, and literally everyone was calling Sean and I, oh, what should we buy? What should we buy? Yada, yada, yada. So I think people are a lot more, now that they're a lot more aware of crypto, you're going to find the hype come in quite immediately. Which is to say that, you know what, I feel like this cycle, we're gonna find, I don't think it's gonna be like other cycles. Now this is, of course, I'm just like throwing out my opinion there. I could be completely wrong. But I want you guys to start looking at where you're seeing strength how about this? I don't think this cycle is going to be one that where everything just rallies together. It's irrespective of what you pick, you're going to make money. I think this cycle is going to be for those who are putting in the work to pick out the winners. Okay, what I mean by pick out the winners. Start looking at the charts. Don't just go based on, hey, this asset is so low, I can get so many coins of XYZ asset because it's so low in price. So, and if when the bull market starts, it's gonna go up and I'm gonna make you, you're basically counting your chickens before the eggs hatch. Okay, don't do that. Understand where the winners are at right now, the strongest trends, okay, the ones that have been performing really, really well. Take note of those. I feel like this cycle is gonna be one where the strong performers are the ones that are gonna, well, end up performing the best. Okay, it's like the whole inertia movement to fit. So right now, that's one thing I want to put out there. As far as the altcoins are concerned, there are a few that are sort of standing out to me. This is going to be an unpopular one, but ETH is actually looking really good in the way it's holding its trend. Okay, it's beginning to look good. And right now, if you're looking at the dashboard, 4-hour, yes, is taking a pullback, as are many other altcoins. However, 12-hour to weekly, we got bullish trends across the board. Volatility, very, very, very healthy. All right, so if I take you on over to ETHUSD, let's go ahead and just look at that very quickly. Like, look at this. So I've been actually monitoring the price of ETH very closely with all of the other assets in my portfolio. And I've noticed now for weeks, months actually, ETH hasn't moved. While all of the other assets actually dropped in price, ETH has not moved. It's been very, very constant. Not constant, but it's been holding really well. It's like someone's here and they're just holding it. They're holding it over the key regions of support, while many of the other altcoins actually did see quite a bit of a pullback. ETH, however, did not budge. It did not budge. And I think there's a huge, there's a huge narrative growing on ETH right now, primarily because of what's happening with the stable coins. So I don't think this is one thing you should fade, because ETH is the primary protocol for almost all of the stable coins out there, right? So Ethereum right now is picking up more acknowledgement based on that. And it's quite a it's a huge theme right now. And it's not only a huge theme, but it's getting a lot of, what's the word I'm looking for? Validation. It's getting a lot of validation from a lot of very, very important organizations. More importantly, it's getting validation from governments. When the government gives validation to stable coins, it means that the government is also giving validation to the protocol that the stable coins are currently on, which is Ethereum. So there's quite a bit happening on ETH right now. Okay, so what I am looking for on ETH is basically breaking this bull flag. It's been in it for some time. Breaking 2,700, I think we get into the next move. Can see how long I've been trading Ethereum for. Jeez Louise. It's actually cleared resistance. It's holding. That's all it's doing right now. It's holding. If you're looking at it on the monthly time frame, I'm going to give this a lot more credence and a lot more precedence than anything all of the other regions of support and resistance that came before. I'm always going to prioritize the recent critical regions of support or resistance, because that's where a lot of market participants were either felt great or they felt pain. And right now, the way I'm looking at this is resistance came in at 2,400, and so far for the past 3 months, Ethereum has been holding it like a charm, not lost it even once. This is important. I need to load more in this Thursday, says Anita Cho. I'm planning to move east after the bull cycle, moving out. Oh, really? It's a theme now, eh? Everyone's sort of moving out away from Canada. The biggest stable. I pray for sideways until Friday. Friday's right here. You know, you always think that you don't have time. But don't go based on that. Don't like spook yourself into just getting into a position without waiting on that ultimate bid opportunity, because then handling the position becomes very difficult. You're always going to make an excuse for yourself. Not an excuse, but you're going to come up with something. The brain is fascinating, right? You might not be looking at an asset for like the longest freaking time, and then suddenly you start looking at it because you find one bullish narrative on it. You go onto the chart, you're like, oh man, I see it. This looks so amazing. I'm like, I need to get a position in this. You haven't been looking at it all this time, but now you suddenly want to get a position, okay? Now you go on to execute. You're like, oh, it's rallied, right? And then what happens is that your mind makes up this whole elaborate story on how it's going to keep rallying, and you're never going to get that good bid opportunity that you had been waiting for. But all this time you weren't even looking at it, right? So the moment you start looking at it, you start making up this whole thing on how it's going to rally without you. I mean, all this time it didn't rally without you, but this one time you start looking at it, it's going to rally without you. You get in on a really shit bid, get in on a shit position, and well, then it becomes very difficult to manage. Okay, so catch yourself when you're doing that. When your brain is pushing yourself towards getting into a bad position. You know, oftentimes you're going to find that if you had just been patient, you got the bid. You got the bid. So this is ETH. Let's go on over to, before we go on over to XRP, once again, guys, we are doing the same giveaway for the next live stream. I'm going to be scheduling the live stream. So today is Tuesday. We'll do it on Friday, Sean? Next live stream is going to be on Friday, okay, where I will be announcing winners again. All right, so if you want to qualify for the next $2,000 giveaway, all you got to do is, well, get a BitUnix account, because that's the only way we can sort of keep track with all of the participants. And so basically, get in, use the link to get in, okay, because that's how I know that you've signed up. Use the link to get in on the campaign, and then just deposit 50. That's all you got to do. That's literally all you got to do, okay? And you qualify for the giveaways. Today we had four winners, and one guy walked away with a whole $1,000 today. What I'm gonna do is, sorry, give me a second, guys. I want to put the winners on my screen. We're going to be going over XRP next. So for those of you waiting on XRP, we're going over it. It's looking good. I like XRP. I like the XRP community even more. Okay, got it. Voila! Here are the winners. I just wanted to make sure that I had something for those of you who missed the beginning of the live stream. Here are the winners. If you are on this list, then congratulations, you have won in today's giveaway. Take a screenshot if you must. I will be attaching this in the description below. There will be an email being sent out as well with the winners list, and we'll also make an announcement on the Discord chat. Cool beans. Now with this, let's get into XRP. XRP. Also, guys, Dashboard now has a pretty cool feature. How many of you guys trade TradFi? Three Diglets, my goodness. It's like I speak for everyone in the XRP army. When I say that, I want to ride the monster. I love this. See what I mean? Like there is no community like XRP, and this has been the case since 2017. You know, as Sean and I, we've been in this space now for very close to 10 years. Okay, there is the strongest community, I kid you not, is XRP. When you find these guys, right, when you find these kind of strong communities, take note of it. It's a lot of information. Thank you, 3 Diglets, my goodness. Okay, so the dashboard has a cool freaking feature. Number one, let's take note of all the amazing logos that we have now sort of slapped on. That way you guys can identify the asset that you're trading. But more importantly, okay, there's a lot of information that is given to you, and the way price reacts, and you're wondering, hey, is there anything happening? You know, what's going on? And oftentimes there'll be things like an earnings report that's come out and has reflected in price action. But when do you know that the earnings report is going to drop? Like, how do you know when it's going to drop, rather? Right? So now what the dashboard does is that there's a brand new column for TradFi with earnings. Okay, so now it gives you dates. And how many days until the earnings report drops? 20, so just go over it, okay? So irrespective of what asset you are trading, you should be aware of when this very important financial document drops, because oftentimes you'll find that price is doing something, nearing this date, all right? So make sure that you're, well, this is a cool feature. Make sure you're keeping track of it, and right now the dashboard is going to help you do just that. And it doesn't just give you a date, it tells you how long until it drops. All right, so it's one better than just a simple date right there. So thank you to the dashboard team for adding this on. And it's that, Sean just mentioned something. It says, invest in people, communities, not companies. Right, and I feel like Sean was telling me about this. He's been dropping so much wisdom on me. I'm really, really lucky. But the true story behind every company right now is in the community behind it. It's in the people behind it. Because if you're looking at the measure right now that all of these markets are using is the US dollar, right? We're using currency, we're using fiat. But that ruler has broken. With the amount of printing that we see, I mean, just look at global liquidity. Look at this. I mean, just look at this. Look at this rise. These are dollars that was just printed. It's just printed, right? When we're living in a world like that, the ruler for value is broken. It's not really a good measurement. So when it comes to really evaluating companies, Sean can basically drop a lot more wisdom on this, of course. When it comes to evaluating companies, the story matters a lot, and a part of that story of any company, any asset that you're looking at, is always going to be the community. Okay, the people behind it, the network behind it. So don't fade those kind of signals and those sort of those variables when evaluating the price of a stock or a cryptocurrency. Toronto 2020 is asking good questions. Canada's tax structure is actually surprisingly good if you set up a corp in Toronto. Oh, you're talking to Toronto. And that's true. It is really good. It's better than the States, for sure. Free Diglets says, I agree, it's the communities making the candles green. It is. It's the communities, and especially for coins like XRP, I feel like when you see these green candles, you're seeing bigger market participants come in. It's very difficult to move something that's already so high in MCAP. Actually, no, I take that back. I think that would be true for Bitcoin. Maybe not for XRP, not yet. And a lot of the XRP fuel is stemming from the community. And it's a lot. You need to understand that when retail comes together, when there's cohesion with retail, all of us, that number, you know why retail loses out compared to an insider? Is that retail, we're not all in one, we're not cohesive in the direction that we act in. Imagine if we all came together and pushed an asset in a certain direction. Our cumulative power will likely surpass any insider there is, any sort of organization that has operations on XRP, right? Where retail fails is that we're not cohesive in our action, right? We don't buy together and sell together. It's all different decisions at different times. We're buying, yes, but we're all buying separately. You know, I might be buying today, you might be buying, say, 4 months later, right? Some other guy might be buying 6 months later. It's not like cohesive in time and in magnitude. And that's very important to understand. And to give you a good example of where retail won out when they were all together, cohesive, when they won out against a bigger fund was GameStop, right? GME. Because it was just one kid on Reddit that basically told everyone, buy, 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 buy. Think about it. They were competing against massive funds and they won out. So that's one good example of how retail, when they are together, it can be beautiful. All right, so now XRP, that went off on a tangent. XRP, I think, can have that sort of power in it. XRP's trend is flipping right now. So you can see that the daily previously was short, now turned neutral. The 12-hour was neutral, now turned long. 4-hour is still trying to picking up some momentum. We're seeing pullbacks right now on the lower time frames. But so far it looks like this trend is looking to flip. We know that XRP was in a bit of a bleed. We had a bit of that downtrend, but that downtrend is now beginning to taper off. All right, volatility, very, very healthy. We can see a squeeze in volatility just across the board right now. Right? And this is usually where the next impulsive move stems from. This is where that next volatile move stems from. So now once again, let's go on. Let's get into XRP. I want to make sure I get the right chart. This is it. Goodness, I got so spooked out there for a second. I thought my internet gave up on me. This looks fantastic. You know, and that's one thing about XRP. This is one of the major parallels that I drew for you guys last time on the daily video. When XRP begins, you know, XRP is boring, 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 boring. There's no buildup of excitement. It's just boring, 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 and peak excitement. Because when XRP moves, it doesn't move in like, hey, I'm gonna pump 20%. Here you go, guys. Get excited. No, 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 no. There is no warning. XRP will pump like this. Okay, 78% in 1 week. Be like, yo, you're either in or you're not. Now, when it pumps 78%, what's going on in your head? You're like, oh shit, should I get in right now or should I wait on the pullback? Nobody wants to buy a 78% pump, right? And 78% was just the candle body, by the way. It's not even encompassing the wick. You see a 78%, like, you cannot, with the right mind, get in on a 78% pump. You're like, how the hell do I risk manage this? How do I manage the damn position? It's so far out of equilibrium with all of my indicators, all of the regions of support, all of the EMAs and MAs and the dynamic, all of it. How do I get in safely? You know? So XRP has a way of like really messes with you. Right, so you're either in or you're not. All right, then you got to be brave enough to jump in. I don't want to use the term brave. I think that's the wrong term. But you got to jump in, and then you also got to know how you're going to manage that position. And the trade management on XRP when the volatility picks up gets very difficult. So right now, and my point here is that it stems from these low volatility periods. My opinion is that I believe we're in one of those low volatility periods. And if I go ahead, where is my other dynamic? Equilibrium right now is likely crushed. Sorry, my tools are taking a bit of time. Is it this? There we go. There you go. Vol right now is absolutely, utterly crushed. While price is living over $2.01, which has been our most critical region of support. In addition to that, we're putting in a series of higher lows on the structure. Yes, I know there are lower highs as well, okay? But I'm looking at this, I will still look at this as more of a bullish tilt, primarily because of how important of a level $2.01 is. And the fact that we have been consistently holding this, not only on the weekly time frame, okay, but even on the monthly time frame, which in my opinion is the most important time frame for XRP to be holding $2.01. This tells me that, hey, the bulls are still in control. Okay, and for me, I'm looking at this entire range of of support that I want XRP to hold, which comes in from $2.01 going all the way up to $2.14. And you can see how it was a struggle on the previous breakdown until for the past 4 months, since April. Bingo. April, by the way, was when global liquidity also broke out. April, for the past 3 months, and now this is the 4th month of July, we've been holding 214 on the monthly closes as well. So in my opinion, I think this is a very, very, very good look, right? What I want to do is mark out the previous monthly high. Right? If we can start closing over $2.34, all right, consistently. I want to see consistent closes over $2.34. I'm saying XRP is ready. And in fact, that should also line up with a breakout. Beautiful. You know, structure, if you're looking at just basic structure, candles, this is looking more bullish than bearish. How do I gauge that? I'm looking at the slope. The steepness of the slope of the trends. Steepness of the slope of the trends. Your uptrend here is a lot more steep. You can see that the buyers stepped in quite aggressively, quite immediately. They didn't wait for price to come down to that previous low here at 158. They stepped in at $2. They stepped in at $2. Okay, they didn't wait for a lower bid. The sellers, however, look at the slope on the top. When it's a bit more shallow, right? They're willing to give it a bit more breathing room to see, hey, how far can this go? How far can we take this? Right? There's a lot more. People are a lot more willing to buy XRP than they are to sell. On the downside, they're a bit more apprehensive, and you can notice it just by the candles. The steepness of the slope of the trend, yeah. You'll be surprised as to how much information that can give you, especially when you're doubting. When you're doubting what way a certain stock can break, a certain crypto can break towards, just take note of that. You know, oftentimes they'll be holding these regions of support, right? But that top slope is so steep, it's telling you that, hey, sellers are pouring in too fast. They're ready to sell, right? It could be holding support, but they are stepping in too fast to sell into support. When you see that, that's giving you added information. So just take note of these sort of little nuances in price action when you do see them, because that can actually give you quite a bit of information. You're gonna, three Diglets is like, I like how you and Sean speak about markets. I need to get on that level of perspective. You'll be surprised. I mean, just keep catching the live streams, the daily videos, the Discord chats. You'll pick it up. I love TA. I love price action. I feel like it's ever changing. There's so much to learn from it. And because it's a different chart, different price action on a daily basis, there's always something new to dissect. It's never a mundane field. You know, it's always changing. There's always a new element. There's always a new signature. There's always a break in signature. And it's like something that's just, it keeps you on your toes, right? But there's a lot that, you know, that even I have still yet to learn. So it's always very exciting. Okay, we'll cover Sol and then I'll wrap because Sean and I have to run. Okay, Sol USDT. It's a mixed bag here. Sol appears to be in a zone of sort of not consolidation. Consolidation, I think. It's trying to establish a trend. But it's not there yet. I don't think the bears have this one, and I don't even think the bulls have this one yet. There's a bit of a struggle on the Solana chart. Let's go ahead and see it. Actually, I should have it on my list. Yeah, Solana chart is so messy. Jeez Louise. Head and shoulders, push a head and shoulders. It does look like a pretty nasty head and shoulders. This is what I mean by the way. When I was talking about the steepness of the slope. Okay, you can just draw it any way you want. You're not drawing a pattern out here. Okay, I'm just asking you to observe when the seller stepped in fast here. You see that? They stepped in very, very fast here. They didn't even try. They didn't even attempt to be like, I'm gonna hold a bit, maybe I can get a bid somewhere here at 205. No. They just stepped in. They're like, screw this. I'm gonna keep this rather simple, okay? Range of oscillation. I'm not looking at the head and shoulders pattern right now. Not with the current market dynamics. I'm very... Oh, it's difficult. It's so nasty. I really don't like the Solana chart. I'll be very honest with you guys. I could be completely, utterly wrong on this. Okay, why don't I like it? Like I said, the sellers managed to... The buyers stepped in lower. Okay, you can see that. They're like, no, I'm gonna wait on the bid. They actually got the bid. Okay, so this is a lower low on that trend. Okay, and this is now officially a lower high. When I see lower lows and lower highs, you're looking at weakness. Okay, structural weakness on the chart. So right now, so yes, we're seeing structural weakness on Solana. However, my benefit of the doubt that I'm giving it is not stemming from Solana itself. It's stemming from the entire market cycle, and it's primarily stemming from the strength I'm seeing on Bitcoin's chart. Okay, so the way I would approach this now, I say, okay, what is the current zone of oscillation? If I have noted the zone of oscillation is from 180 down to 118, I'll then make my trade decisions based on how price performs off of the zone. Okay, so right now we're still within the zone trying to establish a trend. The Solana bulls only start really picking up steam once we start clearing 180. Okay, but dropping here, and I think it wants to see a bit more continuation to the downside. Breaking 119 is bad news. Okay, candle closes on the, this is the monthly time frame. Candle closes underneath 118, so weakness, any weakness, even on the weekly time frame under this level, is going to be bad news. Right? But for me, I'd say if you're playing Solana right now, play it on the zone, the current zone of oscillation. This is it. It's in no man's land right now. That's Solana for me. I'm saying Solana is in no man's land, and sometimes, guys, you don't necessarily have to have like a complete black and white opinion on any coin. Sometimes you're gonna look at a chart and you're gonna be like, I don't know. No man's land. It's completely fine. Completely fine. You don't have to have an opinion on every. You don't have to have either a bullish or a bearish opinion on every chart. So take note of the zone of oscillation, because this will be your guide. Hey, thank you, Toronto. Toronto 2020. It's late there. Are you really in Toronto? Because it's super late there. Okay, cool beans, guys. We're gonna have to wrap here. Once again, I want to spin the wheel and play Santa Claus for the next live stream again. And once again, let's go ahead and bring up those winners. Here are today's winners for the live stream. One of you won $1,000, the other guy won $500, the other guy won $300, and one won $200. I'll be attaching and amending this in the description below, as well as in an email, as well as in the Discord chat. Once again, congratulations to all of the winners. We're gonna be doing this again in the next live stream, so please do sign up, because if you just don't sign up, I'll keep the money and I'll buy stuff that I don't need. All right, I don't need another handbag. Sean is already fed up. Thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day. I will now see you in the Discord chat with this. Trade safely, trade stress-free, trade the mango way, trade the easy way. Ciao, you guys.